Hi everyone, I'm Eshaan M, a Kit's first film critic from Houston, Texas. Today I have the pleasure to speak with Bobo Gallagher, the first person ever to cross the ʻAlenuihāhā channel on a wing and foil, and Deveraux Gallagher, director, cinematographer, and editor of A Boy's Journey, crossing the ʻAlenuihāhā. Bobo Gallagher is a professional waterman. At age 11, he successfully crossed the ʻAlenuihāhā channel on his wing foil. Deveraux Gallagher, age 16, filmed interviews and land shots of Bobo, starting with his preparations for the crossing and throughout the event. And I'd like for you guys to share a little bit about yourselves as well. Anything small you'd like to share?
I guess I'll start. I've grown up on Maui and loved making videos like with my friends and stuff. So it was really cool to be able to kind of try a new style of video of like documentary and more into the water and stuff like that. And yeah, that's it for now.
What
Um,
about you?
so yeah, I have pretty much loved the water ever since I can remember, really. And yeah, just decided that it'd be kind of fun to do a new challenge and cross this particular channel. So yeah.
And Bobo, you've grown up in Hawaii, so how did your Hawaiian upbringing influence your involvement in water sports? You've always been pretty close to the ocean.
Yeah, it really like kind of just like if you live in Hawaii, you pretty much know how to surf and you have some involvement with like whatever in the water, like whether it's like canoe paddling or like winging or just like surfing for fun. And so you can just really, yeah, like and kind of embrace the culture and it like Oahu's the birth of this. That was where the surf school was birthed, and it's where Duke came from. And yeah, it's just like the birthplace of surfing, really.
And Deveraux, Bobo's grown so much in his water sports skills over the past years, so when did you start documenting his process?
I've been involved in like video and social media stuff for a long time. I've helped other people with their like social medias, and I've also done stuff with Bobo, mostly like smaller projects like trailers and promotional videos for his sponsors. But this was really my first like long, big project.
And Bobo, why did you decide to tackle crossing the challenging ʻAlenuihāhā channel at such a young age?
For me, it was really just kind of like a personal challenge, and it had. I've been thinking about doing a bigger kind of crossing, which would be all of the islands, going from the Big Island to Kauai, and that'd be over a couple of days. And that seemed kind of like a big challenge and a lot to organize. And so I decided, heck, I just paddled the Pailolo Channel, which is in between Molokai and Maui. And so I decided, why not do the ʻAlenuihāhā channel? And so yeah, we did, and yeah, it really worked out great because the wing had just come out, and so it was kind of a way to promote the wing while still having a lot of fun.
And what was your parents' response when you told them your plans to cross the channel? How did they react?
They weren't really like that, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, we had really been like talking about it for a while, and I had done a couple of channel crossings. And so, it's kind of natural. I'd done two by then of the Pailolo. And yeah, the ʻAlenuihāhā was just the next step.
Yeah, it's like, a day's work. No, I'm sure there's a lot of hard work that went behind it. So how did you work up to the crossing?
Um, I just did a lot of training and just like just doing like a lot of hours and putting a lot of miles in the car to get me from place A to place B. But yeah, it's just training and hard work is that's how I did it.
And what was it like knowing that your channel crossing would be only the second documented solo crossing in history?
It was pretty cool feeling like the day I woke up, like, I'm crossing it, it's finally here. And then like riding up to the spot we were gonna do it on the boat. Just like, yeah, and then like flying over in the plane, and it was just like a really cool like vibe and atmosphere. And yeah, it was just really fun to, just do it finally after training for a while.
And Deveraux, why did you believe that Bobo's story needed to be shared with others?
I think he's my brother, and he was just doing this big crazy feat, and so we started filming like started filming interviews and clips for a short like 6 to 10 minute video. But then looking through all these clips, we realized there was like this amazing footage and that could potentially inspire people, and so it turned into a long documentary film, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a completely just organic process. It just started with a few clips and it grew. So how did that happen? What was the evolution of the film? How did it start and how did it develop?
Well, we knew that Bobo needed like information to cross the channel. So we started doing these interviews with people who had crossed channels or were just like watermen, so Bobo could gain information. But then I had a camera, and so I was just kind of filming, and we got all this great footage. And then obviously we wanted to document the day that it happened, and like the plane ride, and there's just all this cool, we added a bunch of different storylines throughout the process because there was cool stuff that should have been included.
And what were some of the greatest challenges that you faced in your role as director, cinematographer, and editor of the film?
I think I gained a new appreciation for how much time and work goes into making a documentary. Like it probably took close to 100 hours to just edit everything. And there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know, so I had to like take classes and different things and stuff. So it was a big process.
And Bobo, what obstacles and setbacks did you overcome, not just in crossing the channel, but even preparing for it?
Um, I mean, I don't feel like there were too many obstacles. I mean, I trained super hard. I mean, there's always that mental like, oh, can I do it? Like with anything, like running a marathon or like, yeah, it's just like there's always that like kind of like a little bit of driving fear and anticipation. And also just, yeah, I mean, there's second person to cross the channel. There's got to be at least a little fear.
I'm sure. And how did you get over it?
Um, I don't know. I just started to have a little bit of fun, and yeah, it's just. I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to explain, but like, yeah, you can just kind of like get more comfortable, and yeah, really just start to have fun and do jumps and stuff.
Awesome. And Deveraux, what was the most rewarding part of creating the film?
I think the most rewarding part was probably after, of just like being able to share Bobo's story with others and watching his story provide motivation for people around the world. We've gotten DMs from like kids in apartments in Bulgaria that have said they've been inspired by the film. Like we've talked to men in their 60s who have decided to take up winging because of watching a boy's journey. So just overall hearing the feedback on how much it inspired people has just been so amazing.
That's so cool. So yeah, Bulgaria. That's a global impact that you've had right there, and also many of the age of 60 picking up a new passion. How does that feel, Bobo? That you're the inspiration for so many people.
It's really cool feeling, you know. I mean, I hope it makes some change. And I know as a part of the crossing, we did a like kind of like fundraiser for this organization called Charity Water, which helps put like wells and stuff and like finds like water, clean water for people that are less fortunate in villages or wherever that don't have access to clean water. And so that was really cool too. And I think we raised over 5 grand for them. So yeah, that was really cool.
That's great. I like that you have a little bit of advocacy and kind of helping out the greater community along with following your passion. That's great. And Deveraux, how did you grow from your experience working on A Boy's Journey?
I was able to grow from the experience so much because I learned about editing and storytelling, and I got classes in color grading and sound grading. And I think also just like after, I mean, it's been so cool. I've been interviewed by people in India. The film's won awards for like best documentary, best kids film, best adventure film, and like I can't even believe that it's won those awards. So that's really cool.
And how do you hope that audiences will benefit from watching the film?
I hope that audiences will feel inspired to go for their dreams and goals and realize that any adventure they want to do is obtainable.
And what about you, Bobo?
Yeah, for me, I just hope that it inspires people and realizing by like doing their passion, like they can make change. So like for me, like charity water, I can help give people and help people have like make change and have cleaner water and like yeah, just like really like for the better good. Like yeah, it's just like doing your passion for not just you, for other people.
That's wonderful. So yeah, right now we're getting a few questions from our audience. I'm going to open up to some more audience questions. Just getting started, we have one from Julie. I'm curious, Bobo, what other challenges do you have in mind in the future?
I know I have this other goal that it's the Oahu to Kauai channel. And that is, I believe, 75 miles. This last one was 49, so it's a little bit longer. So that would be a good challenge. And yeah, that I mean, just like competitions, like doing some more competitions.
Great. And here's a question from Samantha. Deveraux, is filmmaking something you see yourself pursuing in the future?
I think that I could definitely see myself making more films, especially if Bobo does more water stuff that I can film. But I think I know that I'll always have storytelling as a part of my future, and I don't know what that'll come through, but I want to tell more people's stories. So
Any film school in the future?
I don't know.
I know this is a pretty popular question because we're getting it from Samantha and from Anne. Now that you're an award-winning filmmaker, are you thinking about a future in film? Maybe you can pick it up as a side hobby or a side job as well, along with everything else.
Yeah, totally.
All right, let's see what else we have. I'll give you guys one. This is just personal question. How did you two bond as siblings throughout the whole thing?
I think that it was totally like a family process. Um, so I think that was honestly one of my favorite parts. Because as a family, we went to all the interviews, we hosted a movie premiere after the film was released, and I was only 14 when we did it. So my parents were like driving us around to filming locations. And like, I don't know, it was the first time that we had done like a project together. So that was really cool.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm sure that, I mean, as siblings, you would have probably bonded quite a bit over the whole experience, and I'm sure now you're closer than you were before. And yeah, so I just like to ask the audience one more time if you have any other questions, please feel free to send them through. They are open for questions. All right, one more from Samantha. Who pays for these adventures? Good question.
My sponsor, Duotone, who makes yeah, like makes like my wings and my boards and whatever, all my equipment that allows me to do these crossings, they kind of help pay for it sometimes. And also sometimes like my parents will like pitch in for like the rest. And yeah, also Fanatic is my other sponsor, and um also Ion, and sometimes like yeah, like sometimes people just like believe in me, and sometimes they'll yeah help out.
That's great. All right, here's a question from Anne. Bobo, in the film you had the support of native Hawaiian watermen. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I mean, a couple of the Hawaiian watermen was like Kaileni. He helped me, yeah, and we just like interviewed him a couple times, or yeah, and then like Archie Kalepa. He was another one who he actually pioneered the use of jet skis for lifeguards and water safety, which yeah, that saved countless lives. And also, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of other people that were just helping out.
Tell me more about some cool people you've met along the journey. Any interesting names, any fun lessons you've learned from people over the course of, learning more about, water sports?
Yeah, so Zane Schweitzer, we also interviewed him, I think. He was also a help. Josh Ruscio, he was my safety. He paddled from um, Molokai to Oahu, which is 32 miles. It's called the Channel of Bones.
Huh.
And he is the world record holder for the stock, which means no rudder, where it helps you steer. He paddled that on a stand-up paddleboard and is still the world record holder. So he was
So
my
cool.
water safety on the boat.
That's super awesome. And here's another audience question. COVID didn't keep you out of the water, but did it have any effect on some of the wind foiling meets?
There actually isn't a ton of wing foiling meets, but I mean, it did have some effect. Like, yeah, there we were like, yeah, I think a day or two after that, the island locked down, and so it, like right after like few days, so it was really just like super lucky that we just like we're like, okay, we're pulling the trigger, we're going. So that was really great that we actually got to do it.
How did your training change during COVID at all, if it did change at all?
Yeah, so one thing that really helped that I probably couldn't have been able to do it is my dad was off of work, and so he could drive me to the other side of the island, which is where I do my wing foiling. Um, and he could drive me over to the other side, and we could, yeah, just like I could just wing all day, and then come home at night and do it all again the next day.
Awesome, perfect. Alrighty, let's see. Audience members, anything else? Anything for Deveraux? All right. Well, I suppose that we've had quite a few audience questions, and it's been so much fun talking with you all. Bobo and Deveraux, thank you so much for speaking with me today. It's such a pleasure to hear your perspectives, and just so cool to meet you both after this crazy journey that you've had. I certainly learned a lot from listening to you, and I really, really admire your accomplishments. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for giving us the opportunity. It means so much.
And thank you to Kids First and the University of Hawaii at Manoa Outreach College for organizing today's interview and the entire festival. And thank you, audience members, for watching. I'm Eshaan M from Kids First, signing off. Mahalo!